All right, so this morning's been rather frustrating as I've been trying to get my 3D printer to work, and it turned out it decided to sign me out for whatever reason and decided not to put supports on the thing that I was trying to print, even though I had it set for supports. So then I had it set for supports again and sliced it again, and it had supports on it. And then it turned out I was somehow signed out of the 3D printer, so I had to sign into it. And when I signed back into it, it decided all of a sudden to get rid of my supports again. So that was a crazy thing. Anyway, today I have to open up for you the from the Suicide Squad movie, and I didn't want to put this word into the title of it because I didn't want to get a whole bunch of oh, if you need help, call this number, or, crap like that. And I'm like, no, I'm not talking about self-deletion here. It's just the name of the movie. It's the name of a comic book from like the 50s that they brought back in the 80s and they made a movie about it. Technically, they made two movies about it, but this is the first one. This is the 2016 Suicide Squad movie. And here's the artwork on the back with Harley Quinn and whoever this guy is supposed to be, because it doesn't say on the package who he is supposed to be. And I don't even think, wait a minute, this is just one figure, isn't it? No, you got him hidden in the back. So the Joker is in this box. Al Davis says, even in Alan like the title. Yeah, he got the joke. Because he's like, you can barely even tell he's in there. Like I tried to take the best picture I could so that you could actually see the figures in there. And even then, Al was saying the other day he was having to squint at it to see it. So I'm gonna go ahead and open them up, open her up, and the afterthought as well. But we haven't really talked about this packaging yet, so we should probably talk about the packaging some. And I think that the other bonus things like the temporary tattoos are supposed to, I don't really care about that stuff, but we're going to talk about it anyway. But, Collectors Club, because this was a crowdfunding figure. For some reason, they felt like Margot Robbie Harley Quinn had to be a crowdfunding figure. Al Davis is her accessory, the Joker. You would think that would be the other way around, wouldn't it? I'm not talking about like action figure accessories, but I'm talking about in a legal sense, she would be the accessory to his crimes, right? But yeah, it's the level 3 Harley Quinn, which means it. So the first one was just her, as you see her in the package there, in her ringer tee, and then they had the level 2 was the one where it had the alternate arms and the jacket piece. And I definitely wanted the alternate arms and the jacket piece. But I figured if I'm going to go that far, I might as well just get the Joker. Because I figure a lot of people would just get the Harley Quinn figure and skip the Joker. And I figured, no, I'll go ahead and take the Joker. I did skip the level 4. I did skip the comic colored Harley because I didn't really care about that. Like, if it had been like a truly, like a classic Harley, like a proper classic Harley, then I would have got it. But as it is, like, I don't need this same figure but colored in a red and black color scheme. That doesn't really appeal to me very much, honestly. Sorry, folks. But yeah, I expected that either the Joker would be in his own box, or that he would at least they would set it up like a 2-pack, and the Joker would be on display, and that's caused some. This decision has caused some controversy. Like one of the channels that I follow online, Aaron Fisher, My Reviews, he was talking about how he was really disappointed in it because actually the main reason he bought the set was because he wanted the Joker. And he's a mint in box guy. So he definitely wanted to have the Joker on display, and that's just not going to be an option for him. And I know C's the director said that he'd gotten his in. So he said he was going to do a review of it soon. I haven't seen it yet. So if he has done it, just notifications failed me. But I'm looking forward to seeing what he has to say about these figures. And, if he sees this, shout out to him. because I know he's a friend of the channel, and he stops by here sometimes. And always a pleasure to have CS the director in my chat whenever he shows up. So David Ayer, yeah, it's the David Ayer Suicide Squad. It's the 2016 one. So yeah, I'd heard some people say that they didn't think that this was a very good likeness of Margot Robbie. I think it's decent. I don't know. It's kind of hard, I think, with a lot of these attractive female likenesses, and trying to get that. If you lean too much into the character of their face, it tends to make it unattractive somehow, I guess, in like an uncanny valley sort of way. And Margot Robbie is one of those where she's just kind of like generically pretty. You know what I mean? Like there's a reason they cast her as Barbie, is what I'm saying. I don't mean that as like an insult, but she's definitely like as conventional pretty can get, if that makes any sense. I mean that as a compliment. I'm being complimentary about it. So let's go ahead and open it up. And I think we've discussed the package, all we need to discuss. I will say I do like this packaging a lot better than the standard McFarlane packaging, because it did actually put some effort into making it look pretty cool and unique, and having its own sort of trade dress, and not being just a bland black box. So let's go ahead and get this out. And it looks like all this stuff is just kind of shoved in here. And then we got some more stuff kind of attached to the inside. And I was hoping this would be the case. It looks like that the trading card is just in a little plastic baggie and kind of taped in here. And that is going to make it a little difficult for me to get the trading card out without causing too much damage. But I don't think it harmed it too much. So I'm going to set that aside. I'll probably just have that stuff loose in the package afterwards. But I really did not want this backing to get damaged. Remember, this is a crowdfunding figure, so this is not going to be like something that's sold in stores. And I did wind up pulling some of the backing out. Unfortunately, the tape stuck to it a little too well. But before we do anything else, let's go ahead and talk about these temporary tattoos. Now, I don't really care about the temporary tattoos, and I'm certainly not going to use them, but we can have a look at what they are. Property of Joker. Yeah, I definitely don't want to have that on my body. Not any version of the Joker, but especially not that one. And then you tell me a secret. It's spelled in an odd way. Then like an I Heart Puddin', and her little diamonds, a little skull with a Jester's Motley hat on it, and a little heart, and where it says Rotten. So these are all things that you could use to cosplay as Harley Quinn, potentially. And I'm not going to do that because I am a man and not a woman, and that would look silly. And Al Davis says, I actually like the red blotch over Leto's eye and the image of the box. Kind of punk, kind of Crow. Yeah, he probably could have been a little more Crow in there, actually. Oh, there's more stuff in behind here. So we got a little movie poster type thing. And this is literally just the movie poster that they kind of made to fit onto this thing. And then I like this one a little bit better. That's a really nice piece. Excuse me. That's something I could see hanging on my wall. I did like this look for Harley Quinn. I know a lot of people, it was kind of controversial for some people, but I liked it. I thought it was a nice, cute look. It definitely took some influence from the New 52, and I'm not really a big fan of the New 52, but I felt like it did a good job with it as it handled it. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back in here. I'm going to leave those movie poster type things out because I think, like I said, I might actually hang that Harley Quinn picture on my wall. That's pretty nice. I might see if I can get like a little frame or something for that. I'm going to put the temporary tattoos in here because I'm never going to do anything with them. And I'm going to actually keep this box. So I'm going to set that aside over here. for now. I don't really have a good place to put it. Hopefully it won't just fall on the floor. So, trading card. That's what I have to talk about. Al Davis says that's cool, like a press pack. Yeah, it's kind of like old lobby cards, kind of like those. And then we got the trading card here. And then Al Davis says I definitely enjoyed the suit up scene with Margot Robbie and Suicide Squad. Yeah, that was nice. Maybe one day they'll release the Ayer cut. That would be nice. I'd like to see, because he says his cut would have been different, so I would have liked to seen his take on it. So there she is with her baseball bat. Harley Quinn, Suicide Squad. That's what the back of the trading card looks like. And it reads, Harley Quinn, Suicide Squad, Data File, Deadshot, Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, Killer Croc, and other armed supervillains unite to battle a mysterious and powerful entity while the diabolical Joker launches an evil agenda of his own. Apparently there would have been a lot more Joker in the Ayer cut as well. I want to say Jared Leto said he shot enough Joker stuff to make a whole movie out of it. So, all right. And speaking of the Joker, here he is right there. Well, can we see his teeth? We can see his teeth, so that's nice. You know, like it looked like to me that the figure was going to have like a closed mouth, and I would prefer for a Jared Leto Joker to have his teeth showing because he had that silver grill, and that was actually one of the things that I actually liked about this design. You know, there were a lot of things about the Jared Leto Joker design where I kind of felt like it was a little too try hard. You know what I mean? Like it was a little too, oh, let's cover him in tattoos. And honestly, I don't think the tattoos themselves would have bothered me, except for one. And I'm convinced this is the one that for most people was the straw that broke the camel's back as far as the tattoos. And they probably wouldn't have minded the tattoos so much, except for that one. And you already know the one I'm talking about. I don't even have to say it, do I? I don't even have to say, you know the tattoo I'm talking about. You know what it is. You know what the one is that people looked at and they're like, why does it say damaged on his forehead? You know. I didn't have to even say it. You knew exactly where I was going with this. You knew it. But it's got to be accurate to the movie. So we can see the Joker does indeed have the damaged tattoo on his forehead. You know, I don't know, he got a little J on his cheek. I don't mind that so much. But this is an excellent likeness of Jared Leto, and he's got, like I said, he's got his teeth showing, and I liked that grill. I like, because people would see that and be like, why does the Joker have a grill? And I'm like, because Batman punched his teeth out. That's why. And it turned out I was right. That was the backstory that they had for that. So this is not like an original. This is not like an original figure. This is one where they reused the body from the previous Silver Age Joker figure, and that one actually did have a platinum edition where it was in a white tie and tails like this, but it had the traditional comic book Joker head. And I never got around to getting that figure, unfortunately. But hey, I got this one now, so I do have that figure. That'll scratch that itch for me. And if I want him to look more comic book like, I can always swap another comic book style head on there. But they did a nice job with the Jared Leto likeness. It does look very much like Jared Leto as he looked in that movie. And he's got the grill, and that makes me happy. But since this is a reuse of a comic book Joker body, there is one just glaring inaccuracy with it, which we can see he has that kind of string tie like the Joker often has in the comic book, and not like an actual bow tie like he had in the movie. So, and I don't remember if he had a boutonniere in the movie or not. But yeah, this was actually my favorite look of Jared Leto as the Joker. He had a lot of different looks, and even when he showed up in Zack Snyder, he had Zack Snyder's Justice League. He had an all new look with the with the big smock and the long hair and everything, and his makeup was just, the red was just kind of smeared onto his mouth. And I guess he'd gotten some laser tattoo removal because he didn't have damaged on his forehead anymore. Al Davis says the shape of the suit remind me of the 90s Joker from the Superpowers line, and with the purple and thin black stripes. Well, I'm pretty sure that was what they were probably going for Superpowers. Well, with that initial figure. And if you go back and watch my unboxing of that figure, you'll notice my main complaint about that one is I felt like it should have come with his mallet, so that you could be a true superpowers Joker, but it did not come with that. And I can 3D print a mallet now. Somebody made files so that I could do that. So, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. But yeah, that was my one complaint about that one. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that they were going for it's supposed to be like a classic Joker look. This the from the neck down on this figure, it's supposed to be a classic comic book Joker. So they just use, and I don't really blame them for using the same sculpt, because hey, it's like how the white tie and tails. We'd pretty much be doing the same thing anyway. I do wish, though, like I said, that they'd maybe they should have just made this tie a separate piece in the first place, and they could have made him an actual bow tie to go onto this figure. But I do think this is a great looking figure, and like I said, it's my favorite look that Jared Leto had as the Joker. This is when I saw him, like, now he looks like the Joker when he's actually wearing the white tie and tails. And of course, this was inspired by an Alex Ross painting of the Joker with him and Harley Quinn. You know the one I'm talking about. All right, so there's no accessories or anything in there. That's just, he was the only accessory that was in there. And yes, like I said, the Joker is an accessory in this package. He's just something that comes with Harley Quinn. He is not made as a selling point on there at all. But like I said, it's like this was a crowdfunding thing, so you'd already bought it. And like, I don't really mind so much. I find it amusing. But like I said, if you're someone like Aaron Fisher, who keeps his figures in the box, I can see how somebody might be very much disappointed by that. So Harley has a bunch of different heads. And when they were doing the crowdfunding thing, I thought that these were going to be separate faceplates, because that's how McFarlane had been doing it, but at that point. But seeing how Black Canary worked out, I'm kind of glad they swapped to doing this alternate head thing. Although I kind of feel like if you're gonna do that, just give me like the extra hair pieces as well, so I don't have to be changing her hair out all the time. But here we have, well, that's just kind of a neutral expression for her lipstick's a little smudged. And like I said, I kind of feel like this is a decent enough likeness of Margot Robbie. Since she's just kind of like conventionally pretty, it's hard to have some character to build it off of, but she's got just enough. And an umbrella. Well, hey, there's Penguin figures that don't come with umbrellas, which I think is stupid. Like the Colin Farrell Penguin doesn't come with an umbrella. Why would we want to have him come with an umbrella? Why would we want anything that makes him look like the Penguin? I think I already looked at this. So, okay, this is a smiley head with smudged lipstick, but it's kind of a big smile on it. She's got kind of a smirk on the actual figure. So we got a smiling head with smudged lipstick. We got a winking head, and we got a neutral head with smudged lipstick. And then we got this one that's blowing some bubble gum. Blowing a bubble gum bubble. Now, let's move on to see what other accessories we have in this package. So we have two guns. We have this big old hand cannon. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe this is Harley's gun. So let's have a look at that. It's a big old hand cannon. She fires that thing, it's going to knock her over. And and then we have a little purple, well, not little, but compared to that gun, it's little. Just a purple 45 automatic with some gold plating on it. That one, I believe, goes to the Joker. I could be mistaken. Like I said, it's been a while since I've seen this movie. I should probably watch it again sometime. And then we have, didn't make too much of an appearance in this movie, but she did have it for a little bit when she was going through her stuff. Here's her mallet. And back in the old days, that would have been like, kind of the standard Harley Quinn weapon. That would have been like her definitive one. But in the movie, she uses a baseball bat more often. And of course, it's going to come with her baseball bat. And I think since then, the baseball bat's kind of taken its place as being like the go-to Harley Quinn weapon. And we can see it's got all kinds of crap written all over it because, It's it's a Suicide Squad 2016. They like to write crap all over everything. I thought that I'm not sure, but I always thought that like having the crap written all over everything was kind of a throwback to Mad Magazine, and how they would oftentimes just have like stuff written all over, in the artwork. That seemed like a very Mad Magazine kind of approach. Now, some people might say Kevin O'Neill, which I talked about him the other day, and how I'm a big fan of his. And I also thought about Kevin O'Neill, but Kevin O'Neill said that he was inspired to do that in his martial law. That was the thing that he really did that in. He was inspired to do that by Mad Magazine. So it's still, even if it was inspired by him specifically, it was still inspired by Mad Magazine. So get all these extra hands out of here. And she does have lots of extra hands. She's got 3 separate pairs of extra hands. And the right hand has a bare hand, and the left hand has a glove on it. So we got all that. Bobby Wald is here and says, looks like Harley Quinn got that mallet from Harbor Freight Tools. She might have. I mean, she had to get it from somewhere, right? And then just kind of painted it herself. You know, like she could have run by Harbor Freight and then run by like Hobby Lobby or someplace afterwards, picked up some craft paints, you know. And then here is the jacket piece, which is kind of like a vest. It says property of Joker on the back. And then the extra arms, because I had to get the one that came with the jacket, like I said. Like the Joker, I was kind of split. Do I really want to get the Joker? And then I decided, yeah, I want to get the Joker because I think a lot of people are going to wind up passing on the Joker, and I would like to have one if he's going to be a hard-to-find piece, like I suspect he will be. And here's a close look at those extra jacketed arms. That's the way they go, by the way. So one's red, one's blue. She had a red and blue look in this movie, which was, again, I think kind of based on that New 52 look. And I'm pretty sure the New 52 design was supposed to be black and red, not blue and red. But again, as we've talked about many times on this channel, a lot of the times what's black in a comic book winds up becoming blue over time. So here is the figure stand. It is not the standard McFarlane figure stand. It is a special Suicide Squad figure stand with a very glossy sticker. This looks like a sticker to me. And I don't know why they did a sticker when they could have easily just Tampa-graphed this on here. And that seems to me like it would have been a little more durable. I'm afraid this sticker is going to get kind of scuffed up over the years, but whatever. And it has one peg, so it can hold one figure. Doesn't come with any other figure stands that I can see. So, old boy doesn't even get a figure stand. What can I? Doesn't get a figure stand. Doesn't get a trading card. He's treated with such disrespect. You know, don't worry, Jared Leto. You got a lot of really cool action figures from Mattel this year in that Masters of the Universe movie that they want to pretend like you weren't in. So, and you were probably actually one of the best things about it. Oh, I did love that movie. Don't get me wrong. Now, for the piece de resistance, the final thing, after looking at all those accessories, and we'll look at the hands a little bit more in a minute because I want to figure out what hands I want to leave on this figure. It looks like she's got 2 gripping hands, which are the hands that I usually like to have on my figures. But I like some of these extra hands because we'll talk about those in a minute. So I think I've got all the rubber tabs cut on her. So let's go ahead and get her out. Get her out of the package. And oh, hey, there's one more here in the back. I missed the double rubber tabs around the waist, around the torso, around the abdomen. Let's get those off. Oh, you're going to be a bitch, aren't you? From this angle. We'll try this angle. We'll get a little easier there. Okay, there we go. Now we got her out of the package. Now, she does have the amazing fishnets. And, I'm not a big fan of amazing fishnets because it's elastic and it's going to wind up getting stretched out of shape and it's going to dry rot. And it's just not going to be a good time after a while. So that is unfortunate for me. And she does have, as we saw with Black Canary, there's a little bit of space there. So easy access. I don't know. It's And she does have a lot of the tattoos that she had in the movie. None of her tattoos bothered me as much as Damage did on the Joker. And, her hand just went flying right off. This hand did not want to stay on this figure. I don't know if they just didn't have it in there all the way. But whatever. Let's be careful with that from now on. So she's got Lucky You right above her pelvic region. And I would assume somebody would be lucky, except for they're about to stick their dick in crazy. But, it's then she's got, what's this on her little tramp stamp? That's some eyes. So her eyes are up there, I guess. I don't know. And then she does have her holster here, which looks like it's going to be functional. So let's put the gun in the holster. That should be fun. Hey, look at there. Fits in just fine. Al Davis says, it happens. Yep. I remember you telling me about her. It's happened to me more than once. So, it does happen. And then she's got Daddy's little monster on there. They did a good job with this kind of red dye bleeding down there. So like a little bit of airbrushing on there. And then she's got the rings on each sleeve. The interesting thing to me is that it looks like, and maybe this is how it was in the movie and I just never noticed, she's got red rings on this sleeve, like it's a red ringer tee, but then it looks like she tried to color these in blue with a Sharpie, and it did not work that well. And we've got some blue ink kind of smudged around there because, Sharpie is going to do that. So I don't know if that was something from the movie or not, but if it is, that would be a nice little thing to have in the movie. And that was some nice attention to detail that McFarlane paid there because they didn't need to do that. And it looks good. I like the look of it. And there's the neutral expression face that she has on the figure. That might be the one that I wind up keeping on here. I don't know. I do kind of like a smiling face. So I might. The big grin. It's Harley Quinn after all. I tend to like neutral expressions and smirking expressions on most characters. But like I said, this is Harley Quinn. So maybe we actually do want to have just that wicked grin on there. And that might be the best one to go with. And she does have little earrings too. Like there's actually a little dangly bit of earring. I don't know how well that's coming across on the camera. But yeah, we'll just pop this head with the big grin on here. I think I'm going to like this one the best. I'm not going to go through all these heads on here because that's a lot. But I do want to see her with the big old grin. But I do like all of these heads. I think all these heads are really good. And I could see somebody like maybe you even buy multiples of these. I'm sure somebody did just so they could display her with all these different heads. But I ain't got that much money. I can't afford to have like that many on my shelf. But yeah, I think she looks great like that. That's really cool. And of course, like I said, there was no way that I wasn't going to buy this figure and not get the arms, the jacket arms. And I'll be really careful when I pull this apart. She does have spacers in here, which is unusual for a jacket, a figure with a jacket. I'm just going to take the gun out. I'll try to hold that in. And pull these sleeved arms out. All right, so set those aside. And very carefully, because I don't want to lose the spacers, get this jacket piece around her torso. And I'm pretty sure that you're supposed to leave, yeah, there's a little bit of space here. So you can leave the shoulder holster in, and that's good. So I'm going to pop these sleeved arms in here. It does not seem like her pigtails are posable, which would have been a nice thing. But just FYI, for anybody wondering, it does not seem like that is the case. But yeah, I definitely wanted to have her with the jacket. So this is, I'm going to display her with the jacket. That's how that's going to be. And I think they did a really nice job with her boots, with her shoes, how they're kind of like these high-heeled sneakers. I don't even know like how she got this. She had somebody make them or something. Now, obviously, in a movie, you know, you got a costumer that can make you whatever you want. This is where some of that McFarlane weirdness comes in here. Because, like, I don't know what color I would have made these ankle pieces if I was doing this myself. Because, you know, you could go either way with the black or with the white. Because they're black and white shoes, right? So, what color does McFarlane pick? Flesh color. Why? Madness. All right, so let's see what we got for these hands. So we got 3 different right hands, and of you know that are in the package. I mean, and one is a gripping hand. This looks like it's made to hold a baseball bat or a you know the mallet. And then we have one that's a solid fist hand, so she can punch somebody in the face. And then we have this other kind of gesturing sort of hand, the spell casting hand, I would call it if it was a magical character. And all these hands, like I said, they're bare hands with this really big ring on the pointing finger. So I'm going to go with this gripping hand for my sleeve hand. And I'm going to go with... on the other side, we have this kind of very loose grip here. She could hold something with it. Probably the gun would fit in there really well, since the gun actually has a really big handle. Let's see what the gun looks like when it's in there. Yeah, it's not really made to hold a gun, but it can hold the gun. So, but it's not going to hold it as tightly as the hands that are on the figure right now that are actually designed for that. But I guess you could put that in there if you really wanted to, but it wouldn't be ideal. And then another solid fist hand for the gloved hand, and then this one that's kind of pointing. I like that hand, so I think I'm going to put that hand on her. And I think that'll look really good. What this hand would probably be really good for, actually, now that I think about it, is to hold the other side of the baseball bat. I bet that's what they designed it for. So we can put the baseball bat into her gripping hand on the right hand. And it's that usual McFarlane thing where, like, the hand is a little bit thicker than it really needs to be. And they're like Babe Ruth. She's calling her shot. Al Davis says she's Ed Gein's granddaughter. Oh, man. So, yeah. It looks like on mine, the tights are a little bunched up here at the top. And it feels like that there's maybe some glue in the amazing fishnets that's causing that. Like, so they're not stretching properly. But she does have all the tattoos and everything underneath. And they're not as legible as they would be because the amazing fishnets kind of get in the way. But, you know, that's to be expected, I guess. Am I going to be able to get her to stand on her own with these high heels? Because that can sometimes make it a little challenging to get a character to stand on her own when she's wearing high heels. I'm trying here, folks. She might be one where I absolutely have to use a figure stand. I think I'm going to have to use a figure stand on her. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about her articulation. Harley can look up about that far, look down about that far, tilt her head kind of quizzically from side to side, rotate the head all the way around. Of course, the arms rotate all the way around the shoulders. And she's got a bicep sole that rotates all the way around. And then she's got double jointed elbows. That's about the range of motion you're going to get at the elbows. Harley Quinn has the really cool McFarlane wrist articulation. So you move these wrists around pretty much any which way you want to. And that's really cool. I really like that. And then she's got a mid torso joint. You can move her back and forth like that, frontwards and backwards like that. Get a lot of really cool dramatic poses out of her. Oh, hey, since I tilted her forward, we can see a little bit more of her tramp stamp. And it says on there, I'm watching. Bobby Wald says, my friend is doing a custom Dreadnought figure competition, and I made for the event, and I made is Bongo the Balloon Bear, but reimagined similar to Harley and a slasher movie. Oh, that sounds awesome. That's, yeah, I've got like, I never got around to actually doing it, but I've got like a Fortnite figure, a 3 3/4 inch Fortnite figure of the character in the bear suit, the girl in the bear suit. And I was going to repaint that into Bongo, but I think I think part of why I didn't do that is because I kind of liked her as she was. And I'm like, you know what? Bongo can be pink. That's fine. Whatever. And she's kind of like almost like a horror movie kind of take on that. So Harley can kick up about that far, which is not very far at all. And I don't really want to try to make her kick up any further because I don't want to mess up her amazing fishnets. And they're going to get messed up eventually anyway, but she can do the splits no problem. There we go. And Kyrus is here and says, hi, Alan. What Harley, is that McFarlane? Yes, it is. This is the crowdfunding figure from a while back that they crowdfunded a while back. They finally shipped it out, so I finally have it. She's got double jointed knees. That's about the range of motion that we get at the knees. And then no boot cut, even though they could have made this a boot cut because it's definitely a separate piece. But she does have, as I pointed out before, the cool McFarlane ankle articulation, even if it's the wrong color. They don't move around as far as I might like because of the way these boots are designed. But it's there. She can move her feet. And no toe articulation. So I guess they didn't feel like showing off with this figure. Yeah, looking at the way her high heels are, like this one's actually kind of a little bit warped. So that's probably why I was having a hard time trying to get her to stand on her own. But hey, that's why she comes with a figure stand, right? So let's see. Do I have anything else to talk about with this figure? I don't think I do. Oh, well, we don't have anything else to talk about with this figure, but we can go over the articulation on the Joker, can't we? And talk about him with his accessory. Yes, the accessory comes with an accessory. How about that? And I'm trying to fit the gun into the holster, but I guess it's a little more of a... That's what she should look like with the gun in the holster. There we go. And Amiga Cammy's here. Hi, Amiga Cammy. Good to see you too. So we got Amiga Cammy, we got Kyrus, we got Al Davis, we got Bobby Wald. Where's Lone Dragon at? He ought to show up. I'm sure he'll catch it in the replay. It'll be fine. Or he'll show up like right at the last minute and say, okay, you can start now. But yeah, she looks great. I'm really happy with how this figure turned out. Let's go ahead and talk about the Joker some, since, even if McFarlane doesn't want to talk about the Joker, I'll talk about the Joker. So, like I said, there was this purple automatic, and I do believe that this is supposed to be the Joker's gun. And he does have this this hand over here with its it's got a trigger finger on it, and it's got this kind of extended pinky. So he's very proper with his gun. So there we go. There we go. That's him with the gun. And it's a nice purple gun. Even though he didn't really wear a purple suit, he had a purple gun. So he got a black suit for his white tie and tails. And then he's got that purple trench coat that he wore without a shirt. You like to go without a shirt in this movie a lot. And then he was dressed as a SWAT team officer at some point, and he had that kind of gangster look with kind of the silver dinner jacket and the burgundy shirt underneath, and like gray pants. I think that was a nice look. I liked that look. Okay. But this, like I said, I thought was his best look in the movie. I liked this one. Kyra says the Sparky revolver from Mezco is one of the coolest revolvers I've seen. Well, I'll have to check that out. But let's talk about his articulation a bit. And like I said, I've already basically been over this figure when I talked about the Silver Age Joker figure. But, for those of you who haven't seen that, I figure that's probably a lot of you because that's an older review. Joker can look up about that far, look down about that far, tilt his head kind of quickly from side to side, rotate the head all the way around. Of course, the arms rotate all the way around the shoulders, and they raise up to the sides about that far. And like I said, he's a character with a jacket, so he doesn't really have spacers in there. Harley did, but I'm guessing that's more because of the t-shirt. He's got a bicep sole, so the bicep rotates all the way around. He's got double jointed elbows. That's about the range of motion you get at the elbows. The Joker does not seem to have any kind of mid-torso articulation, but he's got nice waist articulation that can move back and forth that far, forwards and backwards about that far, rotate all the way around. The Joker can kick up about that far. And then he's got double jointed knees. That's about the range of motion you get at the knees. Not much of a wobble here. Sometimes they got a little bit of a wobble there, but this one doesn't really. And then he's got the cool McFarlane ankle articulation, so you can move his ankles all the way around. So that is pretty much it for the Joker. And we can get a shot of these two together. So there's both figures. And like I said, they did have a third figure that you could have upgraded and gotten a black and red version of this Harley, but I just wasn't interested in that. Kairos asked, did you see the third-party Red Skull? He comes in a green and black suit. I haven't seen that, actually. I'll see if I can find that. That sounds interesting. So, but I don't know if I'll be able to afford it. But, But, hey, I've got a lot of cool figures of the Red Skull from over the years, like the MCU version and, some of the comic book versions. So, but yeah, I'll see if I can try to find that. At least get a look at what it looks like. So they did a really nice job with this set. I think both these figures are really good. Even though the Joker is mostly just a repaint with a new head, like I said, it was a fairly appropriate use of that body. I just wish that they could have included the bow tie on there, and that would have made it perfect rather than this string tie. As it is, it's still a really nice figure, and I really like it. But obviously, McFarlane knew what they were doing when they made Harley the rock star of this set, because obviously she's probably the most popular character in this movie, right? I think she's certainly the most popular character in this movie, and there were a lot of characters I think that people liked in it, but Harley was definitely the one who stole the show, and I think they all knew that from the beginning. And I had seen Margot Robbie for the first time in a little movie called Wolf of Wall Street. And that was the first time I'd ever seen her in anything. And she, the first scene of that movie, you get to see a lot of Margot Robbie. We'll just put it that way. And I'm watching this movie, and I'm thinking, this is one of the most gorgeous women I've ever seen in my entire life. And I'm figuring it's one of those things where, they just hired her to be a pretty girl, like you see in a movie sometimes. And then you got to the scenes where she was actually doing acting, and she could actually act. And I'm like, whoa, she's actually really good. She's in here in a Martin Scorsese movie holding her own with Leonardo DiCaprio, and she's awesome. And I thought to myself, she ought to play Harley Quinn. So, and that's what happened. And oddly enough, I kind of felt like her accent was a little more pronounced when she was in Wolf of Wall Street than it was when she played Harley Quinn. Al Davis agrees with me, and Amiga Kimmy says, Aussie chicks rule. Oh, yes, they do. Oh my. So I got to see my casting come true, and she did a great job. Now, I never did see the Birds of Prey movie because just from what I heard about it, I figured I just wasn't going to be interested in it. So some of the story elements to it. And I did see the second Suicide Squad movie, and she did great in that. Of course, she's just good as this character. But I'm not sure if we're ever going to see Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn again. I mean, she had her Barbie movie that made like $1 billion, and I don't know what's going on with the DC universe right now, to be honest, because Supergirl flopped like horribly, and from what I understand, that movie is going to lose something like $200 million at the box office, which is more than Superman made, more than James Gunn's Superman actually made. So he's not doing too well, right? I'm assuming once this Paramount deal is through, they're going to have him out of there, and they're going to have somebody else in charge of their DC movies. That's probably what's going to happen at this point. I know Man of Tomorrow is supposed to come out in between, and Clayface is supposed to come out in between, but honestly, I don't think Man of Tomorrow is going to do any better than Superman did. It's just how that's going to happen. Bobby Wald says, "Who's better, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn or Samara Weaving as Nyx in Guns Akimbo?" I don't know. I haven't seen that movie, but I do really like me some Samara Weaving. I'm a big fan of hers. So, hey, if they need to get somebody else to play Harley Quinn, that's another good choice. Samara Weaving could do it. Samara Weaving could do it. Anya Taylor-Joy could do it. If they gotta recast Harley Quinn at any point, I'd consider one of them. Those would be my choices. So, and then Al Davis says, "I reckon we could conceive of a DC refresh here." Yeah, I figure their choices are they can continue with the James Gunn universe, which I don't think is a very good idea, because Superman didn't exactly set the world on fire. It's debatable as to how much of a profit that made. And then the Ted Sarandos in his testimony before Congress testified that movie lost money. Well, not necessarily that it lost money, but he testified that it underperformed. I'll put it that way. And then you had the Supergirl that just came out, and it bombed horribly. I can't see Clayface being like $1 billion movie. And I don't think that Man of Tomorrow would be $1 billion movie either, since, the first one, like I said, I don't think most people were that crazy about it. That's what it seems like to me anyway. I could be wrong. Al Davis says they're clones. Yeah, they are, like Samara Weaving and Margot Robbie and Jamie Presley. And it's like they keep making them. I like all three of those women. And then Bobby Walt says James Gunn seems to be great at bringing obscured teams to life, but he seems to have a problem doing individual stories or characters. Yeah, this Superman was like a team movie, really, wasn't it? That was not a solo Superman movie. There's multiple superhero characters in there. The Justice Gang. Oh, JG. That's Amiga Kami says, "Did you see Supergirl?" I haven't had a chance yet. No, I haven't, but we're not alone, because that movie did not do too well. Now, I will say that the people who have seen it seem to have liked it, but I think that the people who have seen it are people who, they were probably going to like it because they went and saw it, right? That makes sense to me. But, honestly, for me, I just wasn't really interested in seeing a movie where Supergirl is a drunkard. I talked about this in my Supergirl video. Like to me, she's a sweet, wholesome character, and that's what she ought to be. Al Davis throws in Jamie King. Yeah, that's another one. Jamie King. She was a cutie. I haven't seen her in anything in a while, but yeah, I don't know when or if I'm ever gonna get around to seeing that Supergirl movie. I'll probably rewatch the Melissa Benoist Supergirl show before I see that movie. I'll probably do that instead. I'll probably watch the Helen Slater movie again before I watch that one, because it exists. So, and that's, like I said, to me, she's a sweet, wholesome character. That's what that character ought to be. So, anyway, that's just my take on it. If you disagree with me, that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion, and I'm entitled to mine. So this is a great figure, and I'm glad I picked her up. I would imagine that this is going to be a figure that's going to start to be expensive on the aftermarket, because, like I said, it's a crowdfunding figure, and since McFarlane's license is ended, I don't think it's very likely at all that this will ever get any kind of mainstream release. But hopefully, if you're lucky, it'll be the sort of thing like what happened with some of the other McFarlane crowdfunding things, and that you know, places like Big Bad Toy Store will actually support the crowdfunding, and they'll have ones that they can sell on their website. And hopefully, if you want to pick this figure up and you didn't get a chance to support the crowdfunding, I wish you happy hunting. I hope you're able to find one for a good price. And like I said, I mainly picked up the Joker because I figured a lot of people would skip out on them. Amiga Cammy says, I'll probably find it relatable as a sweet girl who became an alcoholic. Well, you know, I don't mean to judge anybody who has a drinking problem. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I'm not really interested in seeing Supergirl portrayed that way. There are lots of characters that I like that are I love Iron Man, and that guy totally is an alcoholic, you know, for example. But how tall is Harley? She looks 6 inch. She is a little short for our Harley Quinn. But I myself have a history of alcoholism in my family, which is why I never touched the stuff. Yeah, here he is next. She is a little bit shorter than your average McFarlane figure. So you can see her right next to the Joker and see what I'm talking about with that. And since I happen to have Power Girl over here, you can see Power Girl is like a whole head taller than her. And, you know, since I have Asbats over here still, Asbat's a little crouchy there, but he's a little bit taller than her too. So, but yeah, I'd say that she's a little bit taller than a 6 inch figure, but she's a little bit shorter than your standard 7 inch figure. I wouldn't display her with DC Universe Classics. I'll put it that way. Al Davis says, Superman should have insanely good flight sequences, like nothing we've seen before, like practical and mind-blowing and fun, etc. Well, it should have, shouldn't it? I saw the trailer and I knew that wasn't going to be the case. But you're right. It should have. You know, like the stuff that Zack Snyder did in Man of Steel back in 2013, like 12 years before Superman, looked better. But like I said, Zack Snyder is one of the best visual filmmakers that there is, and James Gunn writes poop and fart jokes. So I don't know what you want me to say there. It's not even fair to compare those two as far as like who's a better director. And it's like I've heard people say that they think James Gunn is a better director, and I'm sorry, you're just delusional. Like he's a good screenwriter. He's a good screenwriter, and he's a competent director. I'm not trying to say he's a bad director, but as far as like, you know, he's not the kind of visual storyteller that somebody like Zack Snyder is, or somebody like Christopher Nolan is, or somebody like Sam Raimi is. You know, I just named 3 comic book filmmakers, but everybody makes comic book movies these days. Kyra says, looking at Harley, you're a huge man. Making McFarlane figures look like little 6 inch figures. No, it's not me. It's just that she's a little on the shorter side for a McFarlane figure. Al Davis says he has huge hands and he's normal size. I think that's just perspective, because my hand gets closer to the screen. But anyway, I think that's it for this episode. I hope you all enjoyed it. I don't know what I'm going to do for the next episode, and I don't know when the next episode is going to be, because I might go visit with my mother tomorrow and try to get her garage cleaned out a little bit more. I might not. I don't know. I've still got a lot more Masters of the Universe stuff to open, because I've got more cartoon collection from 2026, and I've got those Crimson Moon figures I still need to open up. I still got more DC stuff I got to open up. We got a lot of cool stuff to open coming up soon. So don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, to like and subscribe, and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment and let me know what you think about this particular set of figures. I know they want to pretend like Jared Leto wasn't in it, but he was in it. So I'm going to say set of figures. There are 2 figures in this package, even though the package does not want to seem to acknowledge that. And again, I want to express my sympathy to Aaron Fisher, who was talking about how he was disappointed, how you couldn't even see the Joker in the package. Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. I'm like, if you wind up watching this, I feel your pain, man. Like, like I said, it wasn't a problem to me because I open all my stuff up. But that's not to say I can't have any sympathy for those minted package collectors who don't get to display their Joker. So Al Davis says, cheers, Alan, and everyone in the chat. It's been awesome as always. Peace and love to all. Peace and love right back at you. Bobby Wald says, I've always enjoyed Sam Raimi's practical effects. Yeah, Sam Raimi's like, that's another guy that knows how to tell a story visually. And he's a guy who takes a lot of chances and things like that. Like, you could watch like Evil Dead 1 and tell that. And Evil Dead 2 pushes it even further. And the first Sam Raimi movie I ever saw was Darkman. And Darkman is probably one of the best comic book movies that's not even based off of a comic book, because it's shot like you see like Joel Schumacher try to make a living comic book with Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. And you see Ang Lee make his comic book movie with the Hulk and all the panels and everything. But neither one of them really felt like comic books to me, as a guy who read comic books my entire life. You know what movie felt like a comic book to me? Darkman. That is a movie that feels like reading a comic book. Get rid of the fucking island, says Al Davis. Oh, man, it's been too long since I've seen Darkman. I need to watch that one again. As far as I'm concerned, that's still his best superhero movie. And he's made like 3 Spider-Man movies, and 2 of them were actually good. But yeah, like Darkman is still like my favorite superhero movie that he made, and I think it's still the best one. I'll say this for Sam Raimi: his worst superhero movie is still better than The Batman, because at least I wasn't bored as crap while I was watching Spider-Man 3. Yeah, Doctor Strange was better than was better than the Batman 2, and like Doctor Strange movie I did not think was that great. And I don't know if it was necessarily his fault or just like studio interference, but yeah, like I do kind of feel like that it was at least I think he did a good job, at least visually directing it, if nothing else. It's just the problems with that movie, I think, were at the script level, and that they seemed like they were wanting more to make it an America Chavez movie than an actual Doctor Strange movie. So that was kind of a bait and switch a little bit, I think. Probably a bait and switch on him too, because they're like, hey, we want you to direct Doctor Strange 2, and he's like, awesome, I love Doctor Strange, and then gets on there, it's like, who the hell is America Chavez? 17-47 scripts probably didn't help, whichever it was. Yeah, Marvel's just been a mess lately. Like I was talking about with Brave New World, and how that one was a mess, because, oh, man. And Bobby Wald says, I'm still trying to find Sam Raimi's car in The Quick and the Dead. I think it is in there somewhere. I think, like, obviously they had to be a little creative with that one because it's a Western, but I'm pretty sure it's in there. They found a way. They found a way. I don't remember. I got a phone here. I can look it up. Quick and the Dead. Sam. Well, that's Sam Elliott. No, Sam Raimi. Car. Yeah. So where was Sam Raimi's 1973 Oldsmobile Delta 88 in Oz the Great and Powerful? He directed that one? Okay, well, that's weird. I didn't know he directed that. Did he direct that one? News to me. Okay. Yes, he managed to hide his famous lucky car, a yellow 1973 Oldsmobile Classic Delta 88, affectionately known as the Classic, in his 1990 film Western The Quick and the Dead. So should I say it? Should I say it in the video, or do you still want to just figure it out yourself? Yeah, Al Davis says, yeah, that was with James Franco. Well, I haven't thought about that movie in years. Al Davis says he thinks it's in a barn in the background. Because the film is set in the Old West, he stripped the car down to its chassis and disguised it as a covered wagon. Wow. That is crazy. Kyra says, when are we getting new DC figures from Mattel? Did Mattel get the license? Yes, they did. And we already are getting them. They've been showing up at Target. And if you check back, check back over my last few videos, you'll see that I did a video opening up the Mattel Batman figure. So that's the only one I managed to get so far, because they keep selling out like that, and I would like to get the rest of those, but they just selling too quick, man. And I got the Batmobile, but I haven't opened up the Batmobile yet. But I do have the Batmobile. But yeah, you can go back and check my older videos, and I did open up the Mattel Batman figure, and I was impressed with it. Spoiler warning. If you don't feel like watching the video, I did like that figure, and I'm looking forward to more of those. So anyway, that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure that you like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Let me know what you think about Harley Quinn and what's his face. And yeah, Kyrus. Al Davis wants you to know that I have that Batmobile, so I still need to. Yeah, so Bobby Wald says, so I need to hunt down a wagon riding on some 14 rim Goodyear tires. Yeah. All right, that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll talk to you next time. Bye. If I can click the button. There we go.